What is up, Cobra Kai fans? Welcome back to Cobra Kai Nation. I'm assuming most of you have seen or have already seen the part 3 teaser trailer that we got earlier on today, or I should say the date announcement trailer, but we also call it the teaser. It gave us the release date for part 3, which is official now that it's February. Okay, like we've already been saying this for a while now, but Netflix have made it official. So there was no change with the release date. They kept it the same, and it's probably a good thing because if they move it sooner, it means Cobra Kai is going to end sooner. I don't think you want that. But yeah, I really liked what we got. It was great to just get the release date out there, and also tiny glimpse at part 3, but not to spoil anything. So I think it was smart what they did. So I'm looking forward to it, and I hope you guys are even more excited now after watching that. So how do you all feel about the release date and what we saw? Because there's some glimpses at part 3. Johnny's Cobra Kai logo is also in the trailer. Hawk and Dimitri hug it out. It was great. I was going to go live earlier on, but I wanted to prioritize the content that I just posted. So I did a whole breakdown on the dates announcement trailer and the new images. So check that out. I posted my reaction as well. That was right as it came out. And there's more videos that'll be coming out soon about part 3 with this teaser, and then obviously prediction theory videos and so much more. So yeah, I think it would be really cool to see some promo trailers in between now and the official trailer in January. But yeah, so I'm not going to be on this live for too long, probably like 25 to 30 minutes. I mean, it's Christmas Eve. I'm trying to enjoy the some time at home, and also just I've already done my discussion on the content. But yeah, I wanted to talk to you guys. So any questions you guys have, anything you want to discuss, and what did you think? I would love to know. So who is in here? I do apologize for taking longer. I was caught up with something. What's up, DJ Club? How are you, bro? Good to see you as always. Great to see you, a regular. Merry Christmas Eve, Shamoon. I'm so excited for part 3. What's up, Garrett? Yes, I think that's an understatement. It's out of this freaking world. It's only 2 months away. Not long at all. And I think the marketing for part 3 should be the best that we've got out of the 3 parts. John Howard said it a while ago. It's supposed to be the most heavily marketed one. So yeah. Oh, do I think it's Miguel in a Cobra Kai gi? You know what? It could be. If it isn't, it could just be Johnny. I mean, it's hard to say. I don't think it'll be Kreese, and it's clearly not Korean Cobra Kai because it's no longer written in Korean. So I'm curious what's going to happen with that. But yeah, that's an interesting thought. If you look closely when Robbie lands a point on Axel, you can see Terry Silver in the background. He was always going to be there, I feel, but I think it's going to be interesting to see how Silva is going to be in the Valley, because we know what happened with him in season 5. You know, if people in the Valley see that Terry Silva is back, this world tournament that's coming to the Valley, it's going to be the All Valley Sports Arena, and he's part of that, and also everyone knows what's happened. I think it's going to catch up to the Iron Dragons and the dojo, and perhaps the other dojos will know what Silva did there, because it was already crazy enough to see Quan's death in part 2 on cameras around the world. So imagine them bringing that tournament to the Valley, and it's just going to get even more tension, and especially with, again, Silva, and then also Kreese being there, because he's a fugitive. So how the hell is he going to be able to be there? We'll have to find that out, I guess. Hayden Schlossberg tease that Terry Silver's back in part 3 and the scenes will be explosive. What is your opinions on that tease? Well, I think they made it clear before that Silver is going to be a big antagonist in part 3. I'm sure that he will double down even more than what he was doing in part 2, and because of them being in the valley, I think he's gonna try and really get to Daniel and Johnny by really trying to distract them with their life and throwing stuff at them whilst this tournament's in the valley. I think he is going to do so much crazy shit. I genuinely believe that. And I think Kreese might actually be the one that doesn't do as much. I think he's on this journey now to have a redemption. I think the new image they dropped indicates that as well, because Kreese looks defeated by what happened. He's talking to Sensei Kim. They're probably talking about Quan in that scene. And obviously, we're going to see Master Kim's reaction to this. So he's going to be an angry old man whenever he sees Kreese. I wouldn't be surprised if he even hits Kreese again, because especially how he hears what happened, no matter what happened, like even though he didn't put the knife in Quan's hand literally, but indirectly he did. Master Kim's gonna laugh and probably blame him, because it's laughable that he got his student in that kind of harm. Unless Master Kim knew he was gonna be an idiot, but I don't know. It'd be interesting to hear his thoughts on Quan as well, because did Master Kim say he's trouble, or did Sensei Kim only think that? Because like Master Kim, we didn't really see his interaction with her students, or they're technically his as well, I believe. So yeah. Yeah, I mean, he's gonna do some crazy stuff. I mean, if Hayden literally is alluding to Terry Silver blowing up someone's house, or the part of the tournament, if the Iron Dragons lose, then he is going off the rails even more than Kreese, because that's going on. That's insane. I mean, to be fair, he did send someone to, which I think is confirmed now, that Dennis was the one that burnt down Mike's furniture store. I think Silver probably will do something crazy like that, because he's already burnt down someone's business and set it alit. So I think, yeah, I think we'll get something crazy with Silver. I mean, you can never be you can never sleep easy when Terry Silver is around, if you know what I mean. Like, he's always going to cause some trouble when you push him to this limit. That is. Cobra Kai student, what's going on, man? How have you been? Good to see you here. Tyrone, I can't wait for part 3. Neither can I. Also showing, I think, I don't know if that's, I don't know what that is. What do you think will happen to Kim Sung Young in part 3? Well, I just said about Kim Sung Young. I think his reaction to Quan we'll see, as it was confirmed. That's what Hayden said to me when I asked him the question about that. I think Master Kim, I've got a feeling they might kill him off. Or what is he going to do to Kreese? I mean, he's that old ass man. I can't see him fighting Kreese. I don't know. I feel like he might punish him. So I honestly don't know, to be honest. I think it really depends. I mean, like, let's be real. If he fights, it will be funny, but it'll also be kind of stupid, unless he gets the, what do you call it? Unless he gets the why is my mind not working right now? So I think he could get the students that they're technically his students. So you know the fists from season 5? I can imagine that they will come back, and maybe Kreese will have to fight them to the death in a way that Johnny did in season 5. And I also think that would parallel the fight Johnny had with the fist, because he was literally fighting to the death. Like, he was trying to save himself, because they were going to off him. So I think Kreese doing that, but Master Kim making that happen is kind of it's kind of a parallel to that moment with Silver and Johnny, and the crazy stuff Silver said to Johnny about at least you won't be around to see another kid, which was so messed up. I can see Kreese kind of having this moment. Master Kim's like, now you will truly learn the definition of no mercy. And then he just has to fight these like senseis. Because if he goes back to Korea, in this way, like he's in Korea in part 3 with Sensei Kim, but like how long is it until he's gonna get hurt or in trouble? So I won't be surprised. Um Do you think in the finale episode there'll be a big brawl like in season 5 finale? I mean, there could be. The conclusion to the tournament, we don't know what episode that will be, but like if it is the last episode, I don't think that will be the only thing. I do think something will happen after. We've already had a tournament brawl, so I can't see them doing like another one because then everyone's gonna be like, oh, who are they killing off this time? I think what you need to do is to keep the weight of that finale for part 2 and that whole brawl. I think what they do is after the tournament concludes, all the dojos in the car park. I think they need to parallel Karate Kid 2, or I hope they have. And maybe we get a car park fight with some of the senseis. Perhaps Sensei Wolf and Silver are really angry if they lose, and perhaps one of them tries to fight one of the other senseis, like Johnny or Daniel. It could even be that Johnny gets his Miyagi moment, that Miyagi saved him in Karate Kid 2. What if Johnny does that with like Silver or Wolf? I mean, that'd be pretty crazy. But yeah, I mean, I guess it depends. It really depends the angle they want to go. But yeah, I can see them doing a brawl in a similar way, but I don't know if they'll do like another big brawl unless they like want to do something more in the streets right after the tournament. So we'll see. I mean, we could even get a finale in Miyagi-Do, which would be insane. So we'll see what happens. It's definitely going to be crazy, Angela. 100% agree. I don't know what do you mean with him and what do you mean by with and Stingray? Um, I think okay, so here's my thoughts on John and Miguel in that scene. You know what? I could probably get the image up just to show you guys if you haven't seen it already. In the breakdown video I just dropped now on the channel, I spoke about this, and I think it's gonna be a very interesting scene between Miguel and Johnny, and also why are they back at the dojo location? That's also something I found very interesting. So, okay, so let's get this image up. So, no, I don't want that. Thank you very much. Okay, so you guys see that image, right? I think they are talking about, the journey where they've been, maybe they're thinking like right before the Sekai Takai, like maybe things wouldn't have got this bad if Johnny had taken a different approach to reopening Cobra Kai, or I think it's also the futures of, the characters. I think Johnny Miguel just reflecting on that. I also feel that it will be a plan that they have for part 3, which I don't know. I don't think they're gonna do this with Johnny and Daniel, but perhaps um Johnny's worried that if Miyagi-Do don't win, like what is our option? How do we what's our nuclear option? Because he even said that in season 6, nuclear option. He was quoting Amanda. So I think it's got to be something to do with that. I mean, it's probably also a combo with Miguel and his future, and maybe him and Johnny just having a sincere moment on all of that. It even could be a conversation about Daniel because Johnny spoke to Miguel about Daniel Ali and that history they had in the Karate Kid 1, and you know why he should have been careful about dating Sam LaRusso. Like Johnny was giving him advice in season 1, you remember? Because that was a really good scene, and I think maybe they'll parallel that conversation. So it could be about Daniel, but the difference now is it's like it's not against Daniel. It's like maybe praising Daniel. But yeah, whatever the conversation is, I'm excited for it. But it's definitely a deep one for sure. What hair is Hawk having for part 3? Jacob said he would have a haircut that we haven't seen before. I think we saw that in the trailer, which I can get up here because it was some new footage from part 3 was in this recent one. Where is it? Bum 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 bum. Yeah, so if I get the teaser up again, I think that would make sense. Where is? Where is it? I can't find it. Hold on, guys. Oh, there it is. Okay, so let's get this trailer up because it actually is in there. If that's the thing you're talking about, because I did notice it. It's here. I think that's the new look he's talking about. So Hawk is changing his hair once again. Him and Moon are here. Hawk hugs Dimitri. It looks like green with like turquoise, and I love it because it's like a two-tone. So it's like got a hint of green at the top, and then there's like blue in the middle, which is like a turquoise blue. And his clothes, his jacket reflects that because it's green on the sleeve, and it goes to more of a turquoise, darker blue as it goes up on the coat, the jacket. So I think he's taken the same color scheme from like this jacket with his mohawk. So that's really cool when you think about it. I like the color as well, and I know so many people were not happy with the USA mohawk. I personally liked it. It was one of my favorites, I'd say. But when you do look at the previous mohawks he had, the simplicity of just the colors, like having red and purple were just so badass, and you know the OG blue mohawk was really cool as well. Who knows if that could come back, because this is hinting at that blue mohawk again. So yeah. I mean, I was saying about that. I mean, we could see that, but if Master Kim is nearly 100, it would be kind of crazy if Kreese is struggling against him. Yeah. Honestly, like, why would they be there? That's the thing. Like, why would they go there, sit there, and just wonder? You know, I'm curious what episode this is. Is this from like, you know, earlier into it? I just realized something as well. What if they're also talking about what happened at the end of part 2, like with the Sakai Sakai bro? What if they're saying if this tournament's even worth continuing? Like, you know, unless like Johnny's mixed on it, and then Daniel thinks they need to do it because there's no other way we can stop Silver, or you know, we this is the chance. Because I was saying this in a video before that we could see a flip where even though Johnny was all in with the tournament and then Daniel decided to, it could be that Daniel will still commit, but Johnny's now thinking, why am I doing this? And he probably is leaving because Cobra Kai, him reopening it, led to this moment with Quan. Because obviously Kreese ended up getting Cobra Kai again. So yeah, I mean Johnny and Miguel, they brought back Cobra Kai in a good way. And obviously Daniel didn't like it at first, but yeah. I mean, I don't know if we'll get too much on Zara. I just don't see them having enough time to do that, especially because the episodes are going to be like 35 minutes and then the last two are like 45 minutes each, roughly. So Hayden Schlossberg said that, one of the co-creators of Cobra Kai. So I honestly feel like if they had a 7th season, we could have explored Axel and Zara a lot more. And I even Sensei Wolf. I just feel like because they're such cool characters and I love what they've done with the Iron Dragons, it would have been cool to see more with that. And I think I'm kind of in that midst now where I wish we did have, I think a 7th season would have been better because I know we still haven't seen all of part 3, but I'm going to make that decision once part 3 is out. But once I've seen all the episodes, I just feel like 7th season should have happened. Especially with the tournament. I mean, having a back-to-back season with the tournament is a pretty cool idea, and it also works. And we've never seen that before in the show, so yeah. I mean, I'll definitely talk about that. But yeah, no. To go back to this, like, that's the thing. I want to see more on those characters, but there's so much we can do right now. I think the rematch they have, it's got to be life and death. I mean, Silver was going to kill Kreese. That was what was happening in that moment. And I think it's really crazy when you think about that. Personally, I think we will see. Yeah, personally, if they don't kill them off, I think the fight is going to stop somehow. Or if one of them ends up dying, I think because Terry Silver is dying of an illness, and they confirmed that, and there was a storyline for season 5, then it got cut out, and Thomas Ian Griffith said that, but now he said it again in an interview not long ago, and I made a video on it. He basically said his character's dying. So if they don't kill Silver, he probably ends up dying, but it will be after the show's ended. So when you think about Karate Kid Legends, by the time of that film, is Silver still alive, or is he passed away about that point? Because he's fighting a terminal illness. So it could be that. Maybe Kreese dies, or maybe he survives and he's redeemed. And if Silver's already knows he's dying, maybe they don't want to kill him off. So I guess that's what it is. Do you think that we'll see why our actuations in part 3, like we saw the Axel in part 2? Again, I think we just don't have enough time for all of it. Maybe we'll get some lines or dialogue, like especially if when she faces Sam or Tori in the final. I think they're setting up more for Tori, but like I think Zara will essentially, or I hope it humbles her where she actually has respect for like Tori, because if Tori ends up fighting her and ends up winning, or if it's Sam, like she just needs to be humbled. And again, I don't know what she's gone through to get this point, but she's clearly very arrogant and it's hard to like her. But Raina does a great job. So bringing her martial arts to the show is one of the coolest things. Melissa, you've been a member for 22 months. Wow. Thank you so much for your support on the channel. Is Quan still alive? Honestly, Quan's dead, but they could bring him back in a flashback, maybe a part 1 flashback, a part 2 flashback. Maybe Kreese has a dream and Quan's in it, and he basically has this like nightmare because it reflects his journey as embracing Cobra Kai and all the mistakes he's made. So it could see something like that. Well, it's gotta be. I don't think the Iron Dragons will win. because they've got to end this story on a good note. So it's got to be Miyagi-Do, or if Cobra Kai, if Tori wins and Cobra Kai get a win as well. But it's got to be those guys, Johnny and Daniel, and all those kids. They're gonna be the champs. It's got to happen that way. Because if they don't win it, that would be a really bad way to end the show. Unless this again had a 7th season and they lose the Sekai Tekai, but then they have a 2-year time jump and they have another one the following year, or another one in 2 years' time. That would be kind of crazy, but I don't think they would ever do that if they never planned for that. So yeah, Melissa Bonza, Merry Christmas. Yes, Ash. I do think that they've already set them up as a rivalry, because Robbie's rival was mainly Quan. I don't think this rivalry is really between Robbie and Axel. It's Miguel and Axel. I mean, they've set that foundation up in part 2. So yeah. Do you believe, or can you believe that Miguel and Sue have never interacted before? I would have loved to have seen a moment where Silver does like say something to him, but it's just hard to make that happen. They will never get a 1-to-1 unless there's other characters there, or it just accidentally happens. I think in like a what if universe of Cobra Kai, imagine if Miguel and Robbie were his top students and Tori. That would be scary. I mean, Tori was technically in Silver's dojo, but if Miguel and Robbie went all in on Cobra Kai, like the dark side, and perhaps if Johnny was on that as well, and he was a co-sensei with Silver, that would be scary. Because Miguel, his specialty is when he's aggressive and he's on the attack. I mean, you saw how Robbie was in season 5. He was like, damn. And then season 2, he lost to him. But Robbie with defense is better. So, and then obviously in part 1, the fight they had with being captains with Robbie, when he's focused and Miguel's not focused, you'll see who went. You can see who the clear winner is. But yeah, I think I said this to Tanner actually. I was saying I really wanted to see, I would have loved to seen Robbie have complete influenced or be completely influenced by Silver and have that dark side. I think that would have been way scarier than what we got with season 4, Robbie. Very intimidating. So many repeat questions. Do you think we'll get some cool cameos in part 3? Hilary Swank, Andrew Garfield, Neil Patrick Harris, etc. Okay, here's the thing. Netflix, the budget, I don't know if the actors are going to be doing that where they're like asking for a lot of money, which probably will be the case. But this, you don't come into a show for a cameo wanting loads of money. Like, with all due respect, if any of these actors that you mentioned did it, were only going to do it for money, I think it's kind of like, this is going to speak more about you and do more for yourself as an actor or as a person than just earning money. Again, I really hope if Hilary Swank isn't in part 3, because I honestly don't think she will be, I can't see them including her in this late stage of the show. Again, if we had a 7th season, it gives us more chance to actually see that happen. But Julie Pierce, I mean, unless they refer to her, I think that's the only way, because I can't see them having a scene unless they did film something. But yeah, I think when they do a Cobra Kai movie, because hopefully they do that when the show is 10 years old, because in 2028, 10th year anniversary of Cobra Kai, I think they'll do a film. Maybe Julie comes into it then, because in the sense the whole show worked without her, and I think if she was in it, you could have done so much more with her, with the Sam and Tori stuff especially, and her being the first female Miyagi-Do sensei, the rivalry with her and Sensei Kim. They could have had that. So it's annoying if we don't get that, but it's not gonna be the worst thing. And again, if she's in it, it has to be a slight cameo, which would be very cool. Andrew Garfield, I remember saying it would be so cool to see him as the UK Sekai Tekai Sensei. But again, is it money, or could the creators maybe think it's just not going to happen because it's like hard to get him on, or So many different reasons. So many different reasons. I think it really depends on what they are trying to achieve. And Neil Patrick Harris, yeah, I mean, he would be amazing. I feel like he would probably. I think he would have definitely said yes to it. But again, it's just if you can scheduling all that stuff. But we know the whole Johnny is the Karate Kid, like in How About Your Mother. So funny. Definitely would be a full circle of that. I mean, all those characters you mentioned, I definitely think Chris and Mitch. I mean, all those characters, even the background characters, like they'll be back. I think, um, especially if they're back in the valley with this stuff. I hope we see Mike. I mean, Mike never got to be in the Sekai Takai, and he never got that chance. So it would be really cool if he was a sensei, or at least watched the Sekai Takais in the valley. Like, if he's not there, it'd be kind of strange. And also, I'd love to see him root for like Miyagi-Do and support Johnny Daniel and then chosen with Miyagi-Do. And also, if he was to help any of the students in the fights, like I would be so happy to see him return. And I think it makes sense. I mean, he knew so much about the Sekai Takai, more than Johnny and Daniel ever knew. So it would be cool to see him part of that. Aisha, I honestly think they've written her out in season 4 as they did, but I don't think she'll be in part 3. It's just unless she's visiting and she just wants to see the Sekai Takai. I mean, I don't know how they'd write that in, write that role in her for her. But yeah, Ali again. Ali could come back if she returns when Johnny and Carmen get married, because I still think they are gonna have some sort of like massive scene with loads of different characters with all the main cast, and it's gonna be like a really sincere scene. It could be part of the ending of part 3, but I don't know. I think Mike, Chris, Mitch, Ali, perhaps Aisha. No, I don't think so. I could be wrong. We could see that. I think they're setting up for Johnny to have another fight, because they had that second ever fight in part 2. But yeah, I think Silver and Daniel having another fight would be great. I mean, if Johnny and Daniel fight Silver and Wolf, imagine that. That'd be super badass. They struggled against Wolf, but there was so much chaos going on, and they didn't know how Wolf could fight. They didn't know his ability. They knew he was a threat, but they didn't know like for sure. And he's doing like wushu, and his style is so like insane. Like they can't even like cope with that. Um, is it me, or does it look like a green screen behind him? This is a green screen. It's a green screen. If you're saying that. I mean, I definitely agree. It will definitely be a good scene. You know what? We should go through more of the footage. So we've seen that, you know, I love this scene here. It's so cool to see Johnny with both his sons, his new son, his biological son, and then his new daughter. And because he's wearing all this smart clothing, I think the baby is probably after the baby's born, and this is probably before like Carmen and Johnny properly get married, maybe. I mean, I love it. It's amazing. Just surreal. Just surreal. I think this is gonna be a very emotional scene. I'm sorry if I missed any questions. Let's see. I don't know if they're gonna even fight in a certain way, but I don't know if Johnny's gonna use the crane kick. I mean, it depends on the context, but why would he use it? This is a great question. I think Kreese is gonna show signs of redemption, I think, in part 3, but Johnny won't build up to it until he sees it with his own eyes. Although he did save Kreese, but it's probably because he just saw Silver. He wanted to fight him. Um, but yeah, like Johnny saved him. Johnny saved Kreese. He didn't need to do that, but he did. So that's a very interesting thing, right? So we shall see. All right, we're at the 35-minute mark. I'm going to wrap this up with a few more questions. Do you think Julie Pierce will help Daniel Russo close Mr. Miyagi's past? I think that would have been amazing. And they could have used her, but perhaps if they didn't get her back, Hilary Swank said no, but I think the big three would have had this plan for her. I think it makes sense. It's the most natural way of bringing her back. Also explores more of the relationship she had with Miyagi over the years, and also how did it affect her future with Miyagi-Do being such an influential part of her teen years, and then sort of rekindling the martial arts she learned with her grandfather, because her grandfather learned from Miyagi, right? So or her father. So yeah, I think they could have done something amazing with that, and I really hope, you know, we find out if she is in it or not in part 3, and even if she's not in it, that we find out why, because you know, she could return. I mean, if she's, I'm not being funny, if they do another Karate Kid film after the Karate Kid Legends, which probably will happen, especially if they're trying to do another trilogy, I can imagine Hilary Swank returning in a film, perhaps. So we'll see. What fights are you expecting for part 3, excluding tournament fights? I think a street fight with some of the Iron Dragons. I would love to see Miguel and Robbie fight Axel outside of the tournament. Maybe Sensei Wolf with Johnny again. Daniel and Silver. Maybe Kreese and Daniel, because we haven't seen that since season 3. And I think Zara and Tori. Would like to see Sam and Tori beat the hell out of Zara. That'd be quite funny, especially because Zara's so cocky. Yeah, that's actually quite interesting you say this, because even if Brandon knew something, I don't think he's not going to say it in the podcast. So he might have read it as of now, because I think Sholo and Jacob already told him. But yeah. You know what? Speaking of fights, to answer your question on that, I actually think that's one of the fights we could see in part 3. That's one we've not seen yet. Thing is, though, Chosen beats Kreese all day long, but I think with the plot, they might have Kreese win, unless it's one of those like short-lived fights, like Kreese and Mike in season 5. They could do that, so we'll see. I'd rather that than Kreese like winning against Chosen, because it just doesn't make sense to me. Appreciate it, Jacob. Thank you. In terms of what they've shown and like the development, I think Sensei Wolf, he's just such a badass, such a great villain. Lewis Tad is such a great martial artist. So I was so happy to see his, you know, his inclusion in this show and what he brought with Sensei Wolf. And I think Axel would probably be, it's either him or Axel. I like Zara as the martial artist, but you know, she's just not likable. Axel, yeah, he is like this unhinged, immature guy at times, especially with the way he's dealt with like Miguel being with Sam. But he's an interesting character as well. I think probably Wolf though, because like he's just so cool. And you know, such a threat to Johnny. I mean, he was whooping Johnny and Daniel in part 2 in the freaking brawl. So yeah, it was funny. Khalid, how do you think Daniel will close the book on Mr. Miyagi's dark past? Well, I think no matter what he finds out, it's either going to push him more towards the opposite end of things, or it's going to make him embrace Johnny more. Because I think this whole story is called Cobra Kai. I think it's gonna make him appreciate Johnny more, or maybe he'll fully understand all of that stuff even more from what he learned from Miyagi's past. It could be that Miyagi had to show a little bit of no mercy in order to survive, and actually, in one point of his life, he had to do it. He had no choice, and maybe Daniel will find that out, or at least understand that Miyagi had done that, and maybe we find out more in Karate Kid Legends. Although I think they're gonna wrap up this stuff with Miyagi's past, because the big three have made it clear that we will find that answer in part 3. So yeah. Well, Cosmic Spider-Man, what's going on? I don't think I've seen you on the channel here, so thank you for joining. No matter who wins, Miguel or Robbie, they will be happy for each other. You saw how happy Miguel was for Robbie when he beat Quan. You know, him being the leader in the tournament, because you know he was trying to push him to lead, and that's what happened. Yeah, I think it was amazing. But yeah, I mean, they're gonna win. You know, this whole dojo needs to win. Like, they're all winners if, you know, they win the whole thing. So they all need to be happy with each other, and they've all brought it full circle. So they'll be on the same page. I mean, why would you wait? Why would you invite your ex to your wedding he haven't seen in years? Well, Johnny and Carmen know Ali together, so Carmen knows her. It could even be that Carmen invites her. Amanda also maybe pushes that, but like, yeah, they know Ali, so yeah, I think that would make sense. Also, oh, you know what? That would be so badass if that's the case, but we'll have to find out. Quan is celebrating all those guys in final episodes. Cooks them a delicious meal. His chef career is next level. Oh, I think I got that reference. Do you think episode 11 will start off right after the death in Barcelona? I think they should show a reaction with like the public to this, and how they've shut the tournament off or cancelled it, and then they go back to the valley, and like, you know, you just see everybody's like reaction or aftermath, how they processed it. So that's what I'd like to see. Do I think Kreese will die in part 3? It's a potential plot point. It's because it's after the fight with him and Silver, he got pretty bruised up by Silver, so yeah. I mean, we don't know that, but also Tamlin Tamita, I'm curious if they approached her to come back, but I'm also curious like what the whole situation is with Chosen. Maybe she doesn't want to, like, Komiko probably doesn't want to be with him because of what happened in Karate Kid 2, but then it would contradict low-key the stuff with her reintroducing Chosen to Daniel, because she said to Daniel, like, there's someone that could help you. Yeah, Chosen was a changed man, but Daniel didn't know that. But yeah, I honestly want to see a lot of street fights. I really want to see that gnarly, gritty street fights. I mean, in a sense, like maybe not like Daredevil, but you know what I mean. Why would you ship them, Ethan? Miguel and Sam are endgame. I don't think Miguel's gonna ever want to be near someone that did what, you know, messed with Tori and Robbie and did all that stuff. No way. I don't know. I wouldn't say a major time jump. I would say more like maybe a few weeks, but it could be very instantaneous. It could be a few days after what happened. So we'll have to see what the timeline is. And if the tournament was supposed to be concluded within the next few days of if that Sakai Takai brawl never happened, then I expect it to be within a few weeks because I don't think they want the Sakai Takai to be delayed for another few months. But yeah. I actually do think that's a possibility. I mean, Martin Cove, we still haven't seen him with that sword, but he was training with one. So it could be that they cut out a fight already from part 2 or part 1 when he was using the sword. But I think part 3 would have always made sense with that. Also, I think, yeah, I think season 2, when he stopped his fight with Robbie, that showed like he wasn't all in on that because he always doubted Kreese, and that's the difference with Miguel and Cobra Kai, that he will show mercy, and he learned that from Johnny though. So, but no, like the Coyote Creek stuff, that was pretty much that dark side to Miguel that we got, and I think also the moment Johnny was like doubting No Mercies when Miguel went up to him and he said, "Don't worry, Sensei, no mercy," or he says that, and then like Johnny's face when he reacts to it, like he's so pale in the face, like he doesn't think like it's a good thing anymore. Like you can tell it affected him. Dania, I like your videos. Thanks for explaining. Can you wave to Amin? Is Amin your son or whoever Amin is? What's going on? CK Clips, hey, congrats on 100K, bro. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. It's kind of crazy. I'm still trying to process that, and I've got my subscriber award. I haven't got it with me on hand, but it's like somewhere over there. But I'm going to show you guys the award in another video because I want to talk a little bit more in depth about it. Where is it actually? Oh, it's right here. Yeah. We'll definitely talk about that, and I want to show you guys properly. And I also got some cool stuff, Cobra Kai related stuff that I want to show you. And it's not like your typical merch or anything you can buy. It's stuff that you can't get your hands on. So yeah, what was your favorite fight scene from part 2? Oh, that's tough. I mean, there's so many good ones. Daniel and Dennis was a really great fight. I always think about that. Silver and Creases, I liked the way they shot it as well. Very stylistic, but worked well with Marty because he's older. Silver and Johnny was good. Wolf fighting Daniel and Johnny. Robbie fighting Yoon and Quan was insane. Miguel and Axel's fight was good, but again, like Miguel was getting whooped that fight. Like he couldn't handle Axel. But like, that's when he kind of got his introduction to how he fights. And then I think Robbie and Quan, can't forget that. That was probably the best fight. The fights in between all of that, it was so good. Who else? Miguel's platform fight. The whole platform fight was badass. I love the fights with I think the fight that Maria Alvarez and Zara Malik had. I mean, because they're both martial artists. Reina and Jules are just incredible with what they do. Very, very skilled. And they've been training most of their life. So that was kind of an underrated fight because you didn't see a lot of it. But yeah. Damn, is there any others that I really liked? I like the one in episode 6 as well. I think seeing them all fight and trying to save the captains from falling, that was pretty cool. Miguel Diaz says, "Why do you look like Miguel?" I don't know. That's actually something we could see. Yeah. Well, I think Sam would definitely be like pissed off if Axel tries that. And I also think Miguel would definitely beat him up. I don't think he would take that at all. Ooh, Bryce, what's going on? That is actually a fight we should see. That'd be pretty cool. But actually, what I want to see is Mike and Silver. I really want to see Mike and Silver have a little fight. It would be really cool to see that. Maybe Dennis and Silver fight Mike and Daniel. Imagine that. Or Johnny and Mike team up. That would be so badass. I would love that. Oh my god. Yeah, that'd be pretty badass. But yeah, I've answered pretty much all the questions that you guys have asked. So what last one is, do you think that we could potentially get confrontation between Sam and Wolf or Sam, Wolf, and Silver about Axel? I don't know, but I can imagine there being like Sam has an interaction with Axel, and then Wolf and Silver like notice it, and they kind of say to Sam like, "What are you doing?" Or maybe they're surprised by Axel rather than wanting to even discuss or talk to Sam. So yeah, could be that. If Axel is more vulnerable and he sort of is like, he's not going to hurt anyone in the tournament, or maybe Sam says that to him not to hurt anybody and to just be careful because of what happened in the brawl. Maybe he opens up to Sam about what happened with Quan. Like, imagine that. And I also think the idea is like Sam's been more mature about how she meets new people, and she's not judging people straight away. So she's trying to really understand them. So you see that maturity and development with her. And I also think she might be the one that does show you a different side to Axel, even more so in part 3. And that does continue into part 3 from what they've shown in part 2. That's what one of the creators said in the Q&A on Twitter. I think if Wolf and Silver see Axel talking to Sam, they're probably gonna punish him. Like, is in like, why are you talking to her? If Wolf sees any sort of weakness, or he's like off his game because he's thinking about something Sam said to him, or just because of Sam, that's gonna cause a lot of stuff, a lot of drama with Wolf. He's gonna be even more abusive with him. I think Silver also will like step in a little bit more of that, and they'll probably like just be even more harsh. The way Axel treats Miguel reminds me how Tori treats Sam in season 2. Yeah, that's actually a very good point. Interesting. But it's way worse with I mean, Axel is just mad because like Sam's with Miguel, like it's dumb. As I said before, baseball, Jacob, I don't think there's going to be enough time to go into a full-on storyline with Zara, but I think we'll get something small or within lines. As you know, actors always want to make sure that they are able to fill in these things about characters, even with certain lines or dialogue. Any estimated time of the next trailer? January, and I think towards the end of the month, because I've said this plenty of times. Netflix always drop the official trailers for Cobra Kai at least 3 weeks from release date. So just remember that. So keep your eyes peeled. I mean, they could drop more promo and trailers between now and that official trailer date by the end of January, because it's supposed to be the most heavily marketed part out of all the 3 parts of season 6. So yeah, you think both of them will go? That'll be crazy if they do that. I think they should create a spin-off show called Cobra Kai Origins, of characters that we can't find on part 3, like Axel Quan. Or they could just, if they're going to do an Iron Dragons one, they could just do an Iron Dragons spin-off about the first Sekai Tekai and how they all got to that point. And maybe more on Sensei Wolf, like when he was younger, because he's won it 3 times, which is nuts. And also, like, maybe how Zara and Axel join the dojo would be interesting. I think Dennis will be in part 3, but we'll see. I think Hayden's already confirmed it. 30 to 40 minutes towards the latest episodes. I think Axel. Trying to think of other characters. It would just be tournament stuff, really. I think the big three have made it clear that they are wanting to do a Miyagi show, or at least they're going to do a spin-off. They're planning it, so hopefully they announce that soon, or just after part 3 is out, because I just want to know there's more coming with the universe, because there's so many great stories they could do, but I really love to see more storytelling, and I'm sure they are planning a lot. So yeah. So we will see. So guys, thank you for watching today's video. I appreciate you being here. One thing I will do is we're going to watch this together one time before I end the stream. So enjoy.
4 decades of history, all leading to this moment.
Ever since we were kids, you cheered us on, had our backs. What do we have to show for it?
A legacy that will
I
live.
love how Ralph and William are talking to us in this.
This may be the end, but Cobra Kai never dies.
Johnny's Cobra Kai logo is in that. This part 3 footage is cool. Love it. So quick, but yeah, awesome. So guys, thank you for tuning in. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to subscribe. Hit the like button if you enjoyed today's video, or live stream, I should say. So if you want to see more, you know to hit the like button. That means you want to see more live streams. And follow me on Instagram at Cobra Kai Nation YT. I post a lot on there. I'm on TikTok. I'm on Twitter. I'm on Facebook. Follow me all on those socials. I will see you in the next video, next live stream. I will probably do a live next week. And I mean, if there's more marketing we get in the new year, then that's amazing. So thank you all for tuning in, for all your questions. I really enjoyed answering them. Thank you for all supporting the channel as always, and I hope you all have a great Christmas Eve. So go and celebrate and enjoy your Christmas tomorrow and the New Year's. I'll see you in 2025 if I don't stream until then. And thank you so much for all the support in 2024. It's been truly remarkable, and I'll be doing a post on this and a little video just to say thank you to you all, because it's really been such a life-changing year with this channel, and just as a content creator, you know, just a young person in the media industry, and it's helped me in so many different ways to cope with things in my life. So yeah, I appreciate you all so much, and have a great rest of your Christmas and New Year's, as I said. And I'm just gonna leave on this note.
Got it. Okay, let's go number 2.
No, I'm not gonna end on that note. I'm gonna end on this note. I freaking love that. Okay, we're gonna end the stream with this. I'll see you in the next one.